Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Propagandacast Lehr with me, your host Imperial Dane. Massive instruction, education, and knowledge. Today's topic for the Propagandacast Lehr will be how many infantry squads you actually have, sort of as a rule of thumb. And this is a rule of thumb, sort of just general bits. There will always be exceptions and so on there. But overall, how many should you have? The rule of thumb, as far as I'm concerned, goes you need around somewhere between 3 and 5, and I'll explain why. If you got 2 or less infantry squads, long term you basically risk not being able to exert enough pressure on the battlefield, nor can you hold terrain very well, and finally you can't support your tanks well. That does mean if you have 1 or 2 squads, you're just not going to be able to get enough done in many ways. I mean, again, short term you get away with 2 infantry squads as long as you're planning on getting a third one down the road, but just sort of sticking to 2 is long term not really sustainable or viable. Once we hit 3 squads, you're sort of hitting the bare minimum. 3 squads, you can sort of attack, you can defend, you sort of got some field presence, you got eyes on the battlefield, you can sort of do a bit of this and that. It's not amazing, but it's so it'll get the job done in most cases. But again, it's not going to allow you to really just, be really aggressive or just, pull off some really sort of cool maneuvers. But again, it'll get the job done. Then we hit 4 squads. This is sort of basic, I'm an aggressive player sort of minimum. Again, if you're planning on playing sort of rather aggressive, you want 4 infantry squads. It can also help you play reasonably defensive, but again, if you really want to play aggressive, 4 squads is really the minimum there. You got enough troops, you can push, you can sort of maneuver, you can flank, you can swarm, you can do whatever you want because you got 4 infantry squads, which basically means you got 4 pieces, so you can sort of do a lot of things. It also gives you more eyes on the battlefields. Again, you sort of got better clear ideas of finding paths to hit and flank with. Overall, 4 squads again is sort of the safe spot, the good spot in some ways, and again, so just works in a lot of ways. And particularly again, if you're playing like the Russian, going for conscripts, you kind of want 4 anyways. So that's sort of how that goes. And then we sort of hit, 5 squads. Why if you go for 5 squads, you didn't ask? Well, in this case, again, you're playing very aggressively. You just got a lot of infantry on the field because you have to fight a lot of other. You're playing the Wehrmacht, in which case sometimes I end up finding myself needing 5 squads as we have a chance versus the Allied infantry. In particular with some of them being panzer grenadiers. So 5 squads again, so we just really have a lot of infantry. You can support your tanks, you can make offensive maneuvers, you can just pull off some more sort of aggressive defences. But again, this is also where it sort of begins to run into the issues. You got a lot of stuff then to manage, and also you've sort of been into the other issue, which is manpower bleed. That is, you begin suffering too heavy, manpower upkeep because you can't have to reinforce infantry squads. So at this stage, things are starting to become impractical, just like how 3 is sort of the bare minimum. 5 squads is sort of pushing it. You're sort of, starting to really get into territory where things get a bit dangerous because again you have lots to manage, and there's the upkeep cost, sort of associated with it. So 5 squads is sort of, I would say, the sort of top number again. Then we're sort of hit 6 squads, so the Barbie base is sort of really sort of go down. I mean, again, you're playing hyper aggressive, you might even begin to blob or something like that, or just spamming rapid conscription, a lot of something that's the Russians. But at this stage, you really struggle just to keep track of all your troops alongside everything else, and that means you're just going to begin losing troops more nonsensically because you're just going to, oh, I forgot about the infantry squad, it got wiped, my opponent got an easy kill. I mean, that's sort of some of the issues you basically risk once you hit 6 infantry squads, plus the manpower upkeep for it becomes absolutely penalizing. It just becomes very heavy and very difficult to keep up with. So once you hit 6 infantry squads and above, it stops making a lot of sense, really. So there's not really much purpose to go beyond 5. Again, 4 is sort of the good spot, the sweet spot. 3 is the bare minimum, and 5 is sort of, alright, we're there, but you gotta stop it now, mate. You're sort of you're going to territory that's not particularly healthy. I mean, overall 3 infantry squads also more, sort of typical with like several support weapons. I mean, you can also still get them when you got 4 infantry squads, so even more. But again, sort of you got 3 infantry squads, you're basically relying a lot on your support weapons to carry them. Whereas 4, you're not relying so much on support weapons. Again, 5, you can still do it, but again, you're not heavily relying on them to an extent. Well, except maybe in the Wehrmacht, in which case you're always relying on the support weapons to get the job done. So that I think sort of covers, whole concept of how many infantry squads do you want, sort of what the whys and hows and so on there. So hopefully this is a bit enlightening for some players who's a bit, unsure about this, or just, never quite thought about it, might find it enlightening. Hope you enjoyed this, hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment. This is Imperial Dane signing off. See you all another time. Cheers.